The dam has broken. The flood of truth, which we announced, is here. You have survived the anticipation, navigated the current of revelation, and arrived at this moment, the peak of the week's energy. But the clarity you have received in the last few hours, that shocking insight, that undeniable perception, was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of the test. The question the universe is asking today, under the full light of the full moon in Aquarius, is no longer, "What do you see, Zrenia?" but rather, "What are you going to do with the truth that has been revealed?" Think of this exact moment as the opening of a secret chamber in the center of your soul. The chamber of mirrors of truth, the flood of clarity has brought us here, clearing the path. And now, the extremely potent light of the full moon illuminates the mirrors around us, one by one. Each mirror reflects a crucial area of your life, now illuminated with the radical and at times uncomfortable clarity of Aquarius. One mirror reflects your deepest beliefs, another, the truth of your relationships, a third, the potential of your future. And they no longer show a distorted image or a fantasy. They show the naked, raw, and undeniable truth. The spiritual test of this full moon is not about judging the image you see in the mirror. There is no right or wrong answer. The test is about your integrity. It is about your ability to align your actions, your choices, and your life with what you now know on a cellular level to be true. The universe is testing the congruence between your newly awakened consciousness and your practical life. Seeing the truth was the preparation. Acting on it is the graduation. This video will help you pass this test. In the coming sections, we will walk together through this sacred chamber, looking courageously into each mirror. We will decode the specific tests they present. The test of belief, the test of connection, and the test of liberation. And most importantly, we will identify the action that each truth demands of you. The goal is not just to survive the revelation, but to use it to graduate, to qualify for the next and most authentic chapter of your life. The first mirror is in front of you, the test of your mind. It has just been illuminated. Let's look together. The first mirror that the light of the full moon in Aquarius illuminates is the most intimate, the most fundamental, and often the most well-guarded of all, the mirror of your mind. It is here, in the invisible architecture of your thoughts, that the real test begins. The flood of truth has washed away the dust and distortions accumulated over years, and for the first time, you may have the chance to see with shocking clarity the operating system that has been governing your life behind the scenes. The revelation this mirror offers you is not about an external event or about another person. It is the sudden and blinding identification of a single limiting belief, the root belief, from which all your other problems of self-sabotage, anxiety, and frustration have grown like branches from the same poison tree. For many, this belief sounds like a constant whisper of, "I am not good enough." For others, it disguises itself as, "I do not deserve to be truly loved." It could be the belief that success is dangerous and attracts isolation, or that happiness is always temporary and followed by pain. It could be the programming that I need to take care of everyone but myself, or that I need to be perfect to be worthy of love. It doesn't matter the exact phrase. What the light of Aquarius allows you to see now is not just the belief itself, but how this single sentence, this single virus in your system, has been the silent architect of your reality. You will see it as the magnetic root of your relationship choices, as the invisible hand that sabotages your career decisions, as the voice that controls how you handle money and your own body. The shocking revelation is realizing that you don't just think this belief from time to time, you live from it. It has been your North Star, your navigation system, and the light of the full moon now exposes it, naked and raw, in the center of your consciousness. Seeing this can be painful. It can bring an overwhelming feeling of grief for all the missed opportunities, for all the years lived under the spell of this lie. Allow yourself to feel it. Do not look away from the mirror. This pain is the pain of the truth that sets you free. But seeing the belief in the mirror is only the first part. The second part, the spiritual test itself, begins in the very next moment. As soon as you have the clarity, the universe in its wisdom will immediately test your resolve. The test may come from within. The old voice of the limiting belief, feeling exposed and threatened, will scream in your mind, louder and more convincingly than ever. If your root belief is "I am not good enough," you will suddenly remember with stunning vividness all your past failures and rejections. It is the last and most desperate attempt of the old energy to maintain control over your kingdom. The test may also come from outside. The universe may present you with a situation, a person, or an opportunity that is a perfect trigger for your old belief. If your belief is, "I do not deserve to be loved," you might receive an unexpected message from an ex-partner who treated you poorly, testing whether you will respond and reactivate the old pattern of seeking crumbs of affection. If your belief is, "Success is dangerous," you might receive an opportunity to shine that, at the same time, brings a risk of exposure or criticism. And here is the action that the test demands of you. It is not to fight the thought. It is not to respond to the external provocation with drama. The action is conscious non-action. It is to observe the thought of the old belief arise in your mind, and for the first time, not identify with it, not believe it. It is seeing the ex's message arrive, and for the first time, taking a deep breath and not responding. It is feeling the trigger of the external situation, and instead of reacting on autopilot, pausing and saying to yourself, "I see you, old pattern. I recognize your power, and I no longer choose you." Every time you do this, you cut the energy that feeds the belief. Every time you choose not to react, you pass the test. Passing this first and most fundamental test, the test of the mind, is what gives you the strength, the integrity, and the clarity to face the next and perhaps most challenging mirror, the mirror of your relationships. After facing yourself in the mirror of the mind and passing the test of your own belief, the light of the full moon now expands. It illuminates the second and most complex mirror in the chamber, the mirror of your relationships. It is here, in the arena of our connections with others, be they romantic, familial, or friendships, that our new inner clarity will be tested in the real world. Immediately, and at times, brutally, the flood of Aquarian truth has the power to dissolve the facades, the social conventions, and the polite lies that often sustain our connections. The light of this full moon does not show what you want to see in your relationships. It shows the real energetic structure of the connection, the naked, raw truth of the dynamic between you and the other. What might this mirror reveal? For some, it will show, with an almost mathematical clarity, a deep imbalance of energy. You might look at a friendship or a romantic relationship and suddenly see with shocking objectivity that it is you who always initiates contact, who always tries harder, who always sacrifices to keep the peace. The revelation here is not necessarily that the other is bad, but the colder, more logical Aquarian truth that this dynamic as it is unsustainable for my energy and for my well-being. For others, the mirror may reveal that the connection is not based on reality, but on a foundation of fantasy. This is one of the most painful and liberating gifts of Aquarius. You may realize in a flash of insight that you are not in love with the real person in front of you, but with the potential you have projected onto them, with the idea of what they could be. The light of the full moon dissolves this projection, this mist of idealization, and you may, for the first time, find yourself before a stranger with whom you might share a history, but not a true soul connection. The mirror can also illuminate the unspoken truths, the secrets and the elephants in the room that everyone pretends not to see. It could be a subtle power dynamic, an emotional manipulation, an old resentment that was never resolved. The pressure of the full moon makes the energy of these hidden truths so dense and palpable that they become impossible to continue ignoring. The truth wants to be spoken, it wants to be released, and it will use this moment to force its way out. But the mirror does not only show what is broken, it can also illuminate a friend, a family member, or a partner, and show you, with an overwhelming wave of gratitude, the beauty, the solidity, and the authenticity of that connection. It can give you the clarity that amidst so many illusions, that relationship is a pillar of truth in your life, making you value it as never before. And just as with the mirror of the mind, seeing the truth is only the first part. The spiritual test, the true challenge this full moon presents to you is, what are you going to do with this clarity? To know the truth about a relationship and to continue acting as if you don't is the supreme act of self-betrayal. It is a fracture in your integrity that will undermine all the personal power you are trying to build. The test, therefore, is about your courage to align your actions with your new consciousness. How does this test manifest? For some, the required action will be that of a compassionate confrontation, not a fight, not an accusation, but an honest conversation, where you, anchored in your new clarity, express the truth of your experience and establish a new and non-negotiable boundary. A conversation that might begin with, "I need our dynamic to change. The current imbalance is no longer sustainable for me." For others, the clarity may show that the other person is not ready or willing to change or to listen. In these cases, the test may not be confrontation, but dignified, silent withdrawal. The action required here is to withdraw your energy, to stop responding, to step away from the toxic dynamic without needing a big final drama. It is a choice that honors your peace above your need to be right. And if the mirror has revealed the beauty of a connection, the test is your ability to act on that revelation. It is your courage to express your gratitude, to deepen your commitment, to stop taking that person for granted, and to actively invest in what is real and true in your life. The required action, no matter what it is, the conversation, the withdrawal, or the deepening, is always the same in its essence: to close the abyss between what you know and what you do. Every small choice you make in the coming hours that honors the revealed truth is your passing grade on this test. It is proof to yourself and to the universe that you are ready to live a life of integrity. And it is this integrity that prepares you to look into the final mirror, the mirror that shows neither the past nor the present, but the vast and liberating potential of your future. You have passed the test of the mind, finding clarity about your beliefs. You have passed the test of relationships, solidifying your integrity. Now, with your consciousness sharp and your heart aligned, the light of the full moon invites you to look into the final mirror, the most dizzying and promising of all, the mirror of your future. This mirror does not reflect what is, but what can be. The energy of Aquarius is the energy of the future, of possibility, of your highest and most authentic timeline. At this peak of the full moon, you may receive what can only be described as a download from your soul. A clear, sudden, and exciting vision of a future that is calling to you. It could be an image of you living in a new place, working with a purpose that sets you on fire, or simply existing in a state of peace and freedom that today seems distant. It is a glimpse of your realized potential, but the mirror of Aquarius is radically honest. It shows two things at the same time. Along with the vision of your brilliant future, it illuminates with the same relentless clarity everything in your present life that prevents you from getting there. The safe job that is killing your soul, the comfortable relationship that is limiting your growth, the paralyzing fear of the unknown that keeps you in your comfort zone, the vision of your potential and the acute awareness of your current prison arrive together in a single, powerful flash of revelation. And here is the final and most difficult test of this full moon. The test of liberation. The universe shows you an open door to the future, but to walk through it, you need to let go of the heavy bags you are carrying from the past. The test is about your willingness to let go of what is safe and familiar, to embrace the unknown potential of what you could become. Our logical mind is terrified of the vacuum. We often prefer the certainty of a familiar pain to the uncertainty of a potential joy. Leaving a stable relationship that no longer nourishes us without the guarantee of finding another is terrifying. The test of Aquarius is a test of faith. Faith in your own vision, faith in your ability to create a new reality. And that faith needs to be, at this moment, stronger than your attachment to the safety of your old prison. The universe, in an almost playful way, will test your attachment and your resolve. As soon as you decide internally that you will finally leave that draining job, your boss might suddenly offer you a small raise or a compliment. At the exact moment you decide to step away from a toxic relationship dynamic, the other person might suddenly become more affectionate and attentive, promising the change you have always hoped for. These are not necessarily cosmic traps, but they are tests of integrity. They are echoes of the past, testing whether you truly want to move forward into the future or if you will be easily seduced back into the safety and familiarity of your old story. The action required by this mirror, therefore, is the conscious act of letting go. It is the deliberate release of that which the light of the full moon has illuminated as an obstacle to your evolution. This release can take many forms. It can be a symbolic act. Write on a piece of paper the name of the job, the fear, the pattern, or the relationship that is holding you back. Feel the full weight it represents, and then, with clear intention and in safety, burn it or tear it into small pieces. As you do so, visualize the energetic chain that bound you breaking, dissolving. This act informs your subconscious and the universe that your decision has been made on an energetic level. And it can be a small, but real, step in the physical world. The action doesn't need to be drastic, but it needs to be definitive. It is not necessarily quitting your job today, but perhaps finally sending your resume to that one place that resonates with your soul. It is not ending the relationship today, but perhaps deleting the phone number of that ex who keeps you trapped in a cycle of hope. It is deleting the shopping apps from your phone if your prison is consumerism. It is throwing out the bottles of alcohol from your house if your prison is addiction. Each of these acts, however small, is you saying a resounding yes to the vision of your future. It is your final and unequivocal declaration that you have passed the test. You are no longer just observing the truth in the mirror, you are becoming your truth. You are, with your own hands, choosing freedom. By passing these 3 tests, you emerge from the chamber of mirrors not just unharmed, but transformed and ready for the next chapter. And so, the intense light of the full moon begins to soften. You have walked through the chamber of mirrors. You have looked into your mind, into your relationships, and into your future. You did not look away. You faced each test, not with the brute force of aggression, but with a new and radical honesty, with the courage to align your actions with your consciousness. Upon emerging from this testing chamber, the feeling is not one of loud euphoria or an arrogant victory. It is something much deeper and much more valuable. It is a solid peace, a stillness born from integrity, from the powerful feeling that perhaps for the first time, there is no longer a civil war between what you know and what you do. The energy that was once spent on self-deception, on justifying what was unsustainable, is now available to you as a calm and centered source of power. You have graduated. The spiritual test of this full moon did not give you anything you didn't already have inside you. It just forced you to reclaim the power you had abdicated or forgotten. The power to consciously choose your beliefs instead of being governed by old programming. The power to define the terms of your relationships instead of accepting imbalance out of fear. And the power to release your own past to finally create your future. This has a name: sovereignty. Sovereignty is not about controlling others or the world around you. It is about having unquestionable and loving control over yourself. It is the integrity of living in alignment with your truth, no matter how uncomfortable that may be at first for your ego or for the outside world. This is the true gift of the full moon in Aquarius, the liberation from living for the approval of others, and the return to your own center of power. This new peace and sovereignty are yours by right, earned through your courage to face the truth. If this journey through the chamber of mirrors has resonated with you, if you have faced your tests and feel ready to declare your graduation, anchor this victory. Like this video, share it with someone you know is going through their own spiritual test, and affirm your new status in the comments. Test passed. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to explore the next levels of consciousness together.